my name is Andrew Grafton, and this is my PowerPoint presentation on the accountability of emergency response drivers. What a competent and careful driver is. A competent and careful driver is one that does not react to any inconveniences that other drivers cause. These are drivers that stick to the highway code, like road signs and speed limits. This could also include drivers who have experience of driving, like older drivers, and also people who have no claims bonuses on their car. The importance of responding safely to emergency incidents as an emergency driver. If the emergency responder does not respond safely to an emergency incident, then they could just cause even more damage to what has already happened. Not only is the driver responsible for their own safety, but also for the safety of the other people in the emergency vehicle and also to the public. Impact of highway code on response drivers. The response drivers have to abide by the highway code as well as ordinary drivers. Under the Road Traffic Act 1988, the emergency services have to abide by the code suggested within this act. The drivers of emergency response vehicles have to abide by the laws of the road as well as everyone else. When the emergency services have the blue lights and sirens on, it's a different story. When they have the blue lights and the sirens on, they are allowed to disobey some of the road laws. The laws they are exempt from obeying are as follows. They are allowed to treat a red light as a give way sign. They are allowed to pass on the right hand side of a keep left bollard. They are allowed to drive on the hard shoulder of a motorway and dual carriageway and against the flow of traffic as well. And they can disobey the speed limit. Driver training. If someone is looking to become a response driver, then they will have to get a special driver training. They would also have to hold on their other classes on their driving license as well. These are C1, which is for medium-sized vehicles, and you also have to have the D1 category, which is a license for driving minibuses. They are only allowed to take the special driving training if they have both of these categories, which is specified by the DSA. Driving standards for emergency response vehicles. Each one of the emergency services have set standards set out by the Driving Standards Agency. They have to protect their own safety, the public safety, and arrive at the incident on time as well. When called out to an incident, the response driver must ensure that they protect their own safety. This is so that the incident can be dealt with. If the driver comes to any harm or danger, then any casualties waiting on the emergency services could be in the worst state when the emergency services get there. They also have to protect the public safety so they do not cause any more danger on the road and not create any more casualties. They also have to arrive on time so that the person they are called out to save has a better chance of survival. It will also give this service a good reputation. There are no exemptions for drivers of emergency vehicles. The emergency services have to abide by the law as well as the ordinary drivers. The only time the emergency services are allowed to disobey is when they have the sirens and blue lights running. There is no exemptions for the driver of emergency service, because if they are called out to respond to an emergency and they cause an incident themselves, or if they kill anyone and they cause an incident, they could lose their job and not be able to get a job with any other emergency service. They could get a prison sentence if they kill someone when on their way out to an emergency incident. Emergency service driver accountability. The driver for an emergency has to take into account such things like safety of the general public, themselves, and the image of that emergency service. All of the uniformed services, this is including the emergency services, they are held responsible and also accountable while they are on duty. Each one of the emergency services have rules and regulations that they have to abide by, other words they could get into bother. Emergency vehicles and equipment. Each of the emergency services have a range of vehicles they can use to attend incidents. They also have a load of special equipment they can carry on these vehicles as well. Ambulance with 2 crew members. Rapid response cars with 1 crew member. Paramedic motorcycles and paramedic bicycles. Equipment that can be carried by the ambulance services includes portable oxygen sets with a range of face masks, stethoscope, defibrillators with accessories, drug packs, intravenous fluids and cannula, rigid neck collars, spinal board, orthopedic stretcher, fracture splints, and a range of other equipment. Police vehicles. Vauxhall Omega, BMW 5 Series, Vauxhall Vectra, and a selection of 4x4 vehicles. Most of the police services also use motorcycles and have access to fire helicopter. Emergency equipment that can be carried by these vehicles are traffic cones and cone lamps, accident signs like slow and diversion, tow ropes, fire extinguisher, crowbar, hacksaw and axe, first aid kits, and a stinger or tire deflation unit. Fire. I don't know the make of the fire truck that they use, but I'm sure it must be strong to hold what it has. And the equipment they can carry is flat head and pick head, axe, fire retardant, pathogen and chemical resistant and water resistant boots with steel toe and full length steel sole, flashlight, self-contained breathing apparatus, helmet, face mask and visor, fire restraint, work gloves, handheld radio, hydraulic rescue tools like circular saw, cutter's edge and thermal imaging camera. There is also a number of other equipment that these services can carry. Use of warning systems. The emergency services have call centres to tell them when and where the incident is. They also have blue lights and sirens they can put on when they are in response to an emergency. Having the lights and sirens going will alert the other road users of the presence of the emergency services. Public perception and reaction to emergency response vehicles. People have mixed views when they see public services with the blue lights flashing and the sirens going. Some people would just think that they put on the lights and sirens so they don't have to wait in any queues, whereas other road users would accept that they are going to attend an incident. There is even ordinary drivers who would follow the services just so they can skip the queues as well. Some people believe that if pursuit drivers are in pursuit of an offender or of stolen vehicles or something like that, they believe that this could do more harm than good if they just left them be. Just follow them as normal. There is even people who believe that there's a law for the emergency services and a law for the general public. Media coverage when mistakes are made. When mistakes are made by emergency services, the media tries to make it not look so bad for the service because they know that emergency service, is there to try and save lives. If the media decides to make the deaf the fault of the service, then this would cause the public to lose faith in that service.